Brother Preston's been waiting for a long time. Thank you for
Hi,
your
Hashim.
patience as always, Preston. So these
No,
two are our last guests. I'm going to take Hassan and Abedi as well.
Preston,
How are you doing, Preston? You all right?
This is going to be an emotional one today, Hashim. I've been trying to contact you over the past 1 month.
Sorry, hold on. I can barely hear you. Is it my audio or is it?
It's like a 50-50. He's a little low, but I can hear him. But hello? We can hear you, bud, but you're just really low.
Yeah, your audio is low.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's really low.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things that I can always talk on the topic also, but
yeah, we're sticking to the topic as I said earlier. If you got anything else to say, you've got my
on IG message. If you can just reply
you've got my contact. We can.
If you could just send a hi back, because then I'll be able to write back again. I sent you hi on Messenger, so if you just reply to it, I'll be able to.
Yeah. I haven't opened it yet. I'll do it tomorrow.
So this is something rather important. And
is it okay? All right.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is. I've waited all this while just to say this. So generally I don't do this, but if you can just
sure.
Get that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So would you like me to talk further, or are we closing?
You said you have something to discuss on the topic.
Yeah, that's what I said. So I can either discuss in on private chat.
Yeah. I mean briefly, because as I said, we are closing soon. So if you got something to add, do so briefly, or we can take it next time, because we'll most likely be talking about the same topic during the next.
On this topic, yes, I can go ahead and give a short. I'll make it briefly very short since I waited this long. So yeah. So
I don't know. Is it just me, or is the audio really low?
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
It's a bit low, I guess.
Do it manually.
Can you
right. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, as for the topic, of course, again I'll make a short one this time. Yeah. So as for a lot of people, if as you were saying, a lot of Hindus don't follow the scriptures. So technically, the only scriptures that the Hindu are supposed to follow are the Shastras, not the Vedas and not the Puranas and all. Technically, the only scriptures that the Hindu is supposed to follow is the Shastra, because that is all that is needed to become qualify as a Hindu and get the benefits of the Hindu.
Before you start, I'm gonna head pray Asr, but I probably won't come back.
Please.
So,
please.
Yeah, Maurice, Jazakallah for your help. Really appreciate it as always. Can always count on you,
bro. Every time I see you, man, I'm just waiting.
It's going to be a heart-to-heart with you next time, Maurice. But,
all right, man.
But only after Hashim.
By the way, you should definitely, Preston, you should definitely get in touch on his channel, because I think Maurice has been doing some.
If you can give me some contact. In fact, I did try to track it down.
It's called Dawah Digest.
Dawah Digest. Is there a direct messenger or something that I can?
Email is good. I'm pretty good on email.
Yeah, if you can just send in, give me an email address.
Is it DawahDigest@gmail?
Dawah Digest. I'll do that. DawahDigest@gmail. Fine, I'll send you over.
Okay, sure.
See you, Maurice. See you soon.
And guys, do subscribe to Brother Maurice's channel. It's Dawah Digest on YouTube. I think he's on. Are you on Facebook? You're on Facebook and
no, social media, man.
You recently joined Twitter, but I think you're barely active there. So yeah, this is Brother Maurice's email address. So any of the non-Muslims who want to have a conversation with Maurice, he's always available. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, for dawah.
I'll be emailing you, Maurice. So yeah.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Hashim.
Take care, Maurice.
Assalamu alaikum to everybody watching, by the way. Eid Mubarak, belated.
Inshallah, take care, Sram. Right. Preston, go ahead.
Yeah, so to keep it short, the only scriptures the Hindu is supposed to follow to be a proper Hindu are the Shastras. Otherwise, Vedas, it's not really. Not everybody can be schooled in the Vedas. It is a bonus, but it's not. You cannot be schooled. Not everybody can be schooled in the Vedas. Also, the Puranas and all. Not everybody may not necessarily follow to the T. But if there is one set of texts that are to be literally followed, those are the Shastras, and that's all. So you
So
have about 46.
when you say Shastras, what do they
Yeah.
comprise of?
So the Shastras comprise of day-to-day rituals of how
Are the Upanishads considered Shastras?
No.
They're not.
Upanishads are also called Vedangas or Vedanta.
They
Sorry,
come under
Vedantas.
they come under the
No, they are called
Vedic
Vedanta.
texts.
Vedanta. No. So Upanishads are Shruti. Smriti. Smriti.
I thought they were Shruti.
No. Shruti, only Vedas are the Shruti. Only Vedas are the Shruti.
I'm pretty sure Upanishads come under Shruti.
Vedant, for example, Vedant is Smriti. Upanishad, fine. Upanishad is, yeah. So Vedant is Smriti, yeah.
Okay,
right.
carry on.
So, yeah.
So what comes under Shastras?
Now, Shastras is your day-to-day rituals and
Give me some example of the books. You said we have to follow only the Shastras.
Yeah, as in like the day-to-day for your day-to-day rituals.
Yeah, those are the Puranas, aren't
they? Sorry?
Those would be the Puranas.
No. Puranas are the mythology part, as the story part.
No, but they also used in your yajnas and they're used in.
No. Yajna mein it's the mantras. The mantras are from.
Yeah, the mantras come from the Puranas.
Various places. Mantras come from various places.
Yeah.
But that's not.
So this is your day-to-day routine rituals.
Day-to-day routine.
And a lot of it comes from the Puranas.
Yeah, it comes from even from the Vedas or the.
When you say follow the Shastras, you including the Puranas in there.
Huh? No. Mantras come from various places. But you
including the Puranas.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So these are used in your daily rituals, which come from the Puranas and other scriptures as well. So when you say the Shastras are used in your daily life, so they include the Puranas then by that definition.
I mean, by extension, yes.
Yeah, by extension, yeah.
In fact, I mean, the whole thing comes as a kit, right? I mean, you can't really divorce one section of the text from another text. Some people try to say that, okay, I follow the Vedanta, but I don't follow the Shastras, and that does not really constitute proper Hinduism. So in Hinduism, you take it all together. Okay, maybe you don't follow all of them.
That's what I've been saying all along.
Yeah, right.
Some people came here and they say, "Oh, this doesn't.
I know.
This doesn't settle well with me, so I'm going to reject it."
So basically, all these new age gurus and all these new age writers. So they
the modernists. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all these weird claims, but.
Oops, you froze. Or is it just me?
No, I think he's frozen.
He's frozen, isn't he? He's been
he's frozen.
Hours, President. Assalamu alaikum, brother Hassan. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I think he's back on. Yeah, he's back on.
Go ahead, Preston. You froze there, so we don't know what you said.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So Hinduism is not as open-ended as some people try to make it out to be. That's one major thing. And the open-endedness is in the fact that we can gradually edit our Shastras over time, not as a person. Not I cannot edit the Shastras. The rishis and the seniors have to do it, and it has to follow a certain code of conduct before it is done.
Hold on. You just say you cannot read the Shastras.
No, you cannot edit.
Why is that?
Edit.
No, you can't edit. Okay.
Yeah, you can't edit.
So who has the right to edit Shastras?
Yeah. So, for example, I'll give you an example. For example, the Ramayana, for example, Valmiki Ramayana, which last time you presented certain sentences to me, which you said might be offensive to a certain audience, right? Now, since that was written in that day and age when the dressing sense was of that sort, so it was totally normal for that era. But today it might not be, right? So in that case, I cannot just strike off those two lines and reclaim that it's the same Valmiki Ramayana. I can't do that. I can't even change a single vowel. I have to write an entirely new Ramayana, for example, Tulsidas Ramcharitmanas or those kind of things, which are rewritten for this specific era, and that's what constitutes the present era Ramayana.
What does that mean? Does it mean Valmiki Ramayana is still valid, or is it not?
Of course, it is valid. Of course, you can't really follow it to the T in the same way, because you see, the certain context might not be digestible for us today. right? So
No, but
therefore, we have the
that
Ram
just
Charit Manas.
seems like this reduction is kind of whitewashing what was what was written
No, no,
in
no,
the
no.
original.
No, no, it's not. It's not. It is fine tuned to the present day culture.
No, it's not fine
Fine
tuned.
tuned.
When you remove bits which doesn't settle well with the modern world,
Yeah.
then it only implies that you're whitewashing stuff which you think
No.
it
No.
doesn't
No. No.
apply to this
For example,
this
I'll
modern
give you a very clear
society.
example. Yeah, I'll give you a very clear example. If you see Ram Charit Manas, if you read Ram Charit Manas, for example,
Yeah.
it is it shows it has very few. I mean, a feminist would disagree with Ram Charit Manas more than she would with Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, Valmiki Ramayana is more feminist friendly than Ramcharitmanas. But why is it so? Because 15th century India, when the Ramcharitmanas was written, was not that feminist friendly, and therefore the values of that era have been taken into account.
So are
Very
you
clear.
saying that in future there'll be a more
Yeah.
feminist version as well?
No, there might be a less feminist, more feminist, depending on how society goes. But you and I cannot write
It
that.
doesn't make sense because it just looks
No.
like whatever is in fashion, you fashion your scripture accordingly.
No. Fashion as it's not such a. I mean, it's not such a, how do you say, such a short-term text that they write. It is the text is
it's
specific.
called political
For
correct
example,
version.
politically correct version, which is written over centuries for a certain rishi or somebody who writes it. I mean, it doesn't cook it up in one day. It takes centuries for a single version. For example, Thai Ramayana, for example, which has its own value system. So it was written over,
I
one
heard
day.
there are like something like 300 versions of Ramayana.
300 Ramayans. Each of
So
them fine tuned to
it
the
seems
local
like
culture.
anyone can edit the whole thing and they can have a different version of Ramayana.
No, anyone can. It has to be Shastra Sammat. It has to be Shastra
Yeah,
Sammat.
what I meant by anyone is like anyone qualified, let's say.
Yeah, so anybody
Anyone
who
qualified
wants to, a qualified
do
person can. So it's not that anybody can.
Does it not
And
destroy the original Ramayana?
no, so that is the reason Ramayana is a great story, because even after 300 retellings, the original essence has still been retained.
Yeah, the
So that
core
is one
story will
major
remain
reason.
the same, but then you won't have those embarrassing,
No, embarrassing for us. Embarrassing for us. But
of
in
course,
that era,
embarrassing for the time of that particular,
for today's era, for example, yeah.
whoever the
But in
author
those
is at that time, yeah.
But in that era, when that was the word globally, that was a common trend of dressing up. For example, Sita was a warrior, right? She was also a warrior. In case you don't know, Sita was a princess, and she was she was a well-trained warrior. And I think this is something that most Ramcharitmanas will not tell you, because Ramcharitmanas needs a more demure, eye down kind of a Sita, because of the needs of the era. Okay. So Sita is a strong warrior, and so on and so forth. Coming to the things when we quote, the Manusmriti or whatever the things that you had quoted, right? So I have a serious problem there, because when we very often we quote things from the middle of a text without even knowing what the context is, what the various terms mean, and then if you try to judge it, it's like taking something out of context, and you're taking out.
Yeah, of course, we shouldn't take it out of context. Yeah,
we should take it out of context, and that's a very major issue, I think, is there. And I think most people, even Hindus, don't understand that. They try to justify those two lines or not justify those two lines. So you cannot change the Manusmriti. The Manusmriti is the way it is, right? If you have a problem with Manusmriti, discard it entirely and follow a new Smriti, which has been done. There are more than 8 or 12 Smritis that we have. We have Parashar Smriti, we have few.
But why do most of the Hindus that we speak to on our panel, they completely reject Manusmriti?
No, because that's the propaganda that has been spread over a lot of long period of time. See, Manusmriti was the
spread
first.
The propaganda?
A lot of the history, we've been taught history. Leftist historians have kind of tried to say that Manusmriti was just the first Smriti, but after that, many other Smritis were written. And at the time when Manusmriti was written, society was really in a very, very primitive state. So from taking a very, very wild bunch of people and converting them into civilized people takes a lot of effort, which I think is seen in any kind of society, even today.
Do you think B.R. Ambedkar was one of the key figures who gave a bad reputation to Manusmriti?
No, I don't think so. I think B.R. Ambedkar, in fact, we don't know, what most people don't know. Most of B.R. Ambedkar's research work has been lost. So in those days, there was no Xeroxing and PDF and, digital copying. So what the work that he did in Columbia University, he studied in Columbia University, right? Yeah. Columbia University, yeah. So when he was coming back, so he was coming on another ship, and his research work was on another ship, and most of his research work has been lost. So we don't really know what he actually wrote.
Is it not true that he actually burned the manuscript?
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. His research work we don't really know. So under what context, and that's the whole problem.
What would compel you to burn a book?
Yeah, so
other
probably
than the fact that
he was also
appalled by its
educated in the West.
content or something.
Yeah, he was also educated in the West, and he was a lot of his system was essentially Western. So it's probable that
he was an Indian at heart. Come on, he was one of the people who drafted the Indian Constitution.
Not drafted.
You can't say he's become westernized.
He was the head of the committee that made the Constitution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
he was someone who loved his nation, who loved.
Yes, he did. I
think it was he had a bad time because he was mistreated as a Dalit.
Probably his own experiences.
Maybe that is the reason.
That is the reason, but also the point is, he also did not know Sanskrit. I mean, by his own admittance, he had not read most Hindu texts, or including Manusmriti. So he had done this as a sign of of what he was told about it. And I mean, when I see all these the neo Buddhists, his followers, they are also not really aware of most Buddhist texts. So that's fine. I mean, it's you're free to have your own dissent, and it's okay as long as it doesn't.
Yeah, I think you're being reasonable. At least you're not completely rejecting it like most of the Hindus come here. So good to see that part as well, because I find very few Hindus who would actually acknowledge even that the Manusmriti is something which is a book of law.
It was the first book of law, but it's not the final book of law. There are many further springs after that.
It's one of the many books of law.
One of the many books. So I mean, there's no need to stick on the Manusmriti and quote everything from the Manusmriti. Manusmriti was for a certain time, and then Manu himself wrote into the book that this is only for this era. For another book or another era.
Do you think Manu actually wrote Manusmriti?
I mean, that's the legendary figure that we don't really know who it was, because
if you're talking about Manu, you're talking about millions of years ago, based on the Hindu.
No, I mean again, as I said, these the Puranic histories are very figurative. They're not really all literal, because all of our Puranas, including.
So do you not believe in the 4 yugas?
4 yugas, yes, but not in literal those many years and all. They might. So when there's a reason I say these are cosmic events. When I say cosmic events, I mean these are repetitive. It's not happened just once. These things keep happening again and again. So if I say,
but when they describe the yugas, they are talking about millions of years.
Yes, but
for example, when you talk about the Treta Yuga, I was speaking earlier. You must have noticed. They say something like 2.1 million years ago.
Yeah. So
how do you reconcile that with the fact that there were no Homo sapiens even at that time?
Yeah. So the thing is,
let alone Ram and Sita and everyone, Valmiki and so on.
So a lot of our Puranic events are actually cosmic events or geological events. For example, we might be talking about the Ice Age, but not really in the Ice Age. So we might be taking figuratively some certain events, certain movements of the glacier or the mountains or something, and putting them in human terms, which is why most of the characters are so non-human, right? For example, Ganesha with a elephant head is not a very scientific representation or something, but
so
it is.
You don't take it literally? Is that what you're saying?
No, yeah, exactly. It is not to be taken literally, but it is to be taken very seriously and as a sacred.
If I were to ask you, did Ram exist in history, or is he a mythological figure, or is he some concept of an ideal man or something? What do you think?
Yeah, so okay, fine. So it's a mixture of all of them. It's a mixture of several things. So there are actual events in history.
Let's start with the first one. Do you actually think Ram existed as a human in the Treta Yuga or whenever? Did he actually exist in history at all?
I mean, see, even if he existed in history, the earliest, he existed at least 7,000 years back. That's the minimum we can put it back to. I'm not going to put it back to Satyug or Dwapar Yuga.
Regardless, even 7,000 years ago, let's say, do you actually think he existed?
Now it's pretty hard to say what happened 7,000 years back, right? Because 7,000 years
Absolutely.
is enough time
I mean,
for any proof to decay. In metal
even
or,
if you go 7,000 years ago, Sanskrit didn't exist as a language. So how did Valmiki write it?
Yeah, because Valmiki is retelling, right? Because the first version is not Valmiki Ramayana. The first version is Adhyatma Ramayana.
What language was that in?
Sorry?
What language was that in?
I mean, of course, it was Sanskrit, but I mean, not
Sanskrit didn't exist 7,000 years ago.
So that's the whole point. I mean, see, there are many ways to, because Sanskrit didn't exist. So, I mean, our earliest signs of civilization, I mean, I don't know if people know, but our earliest signs of civilization are in Haryana. Indus Valley is only about 3,500 years old, while Haryana, Rakhi Gadi in Haryana is radiocarbon dated, scientifically proven to be at least 7 to 8,000 years, 10,000 years old.
That doesn't answer the question. What language was it?
I'm coming to it. So, similarly, when people put Sanskrit into context, they put it, there are certain mythical, dates that they have put that, Aryans anyway came to India at this date, and therefore it could only be spoken after this date. That is the kind of, the justification we put for dating Sanskrit. But Sanskrit is actually pretty much older because the civilization that we know of is much older. So,
we don't have any evidence of Sanskrit being older.
Sanskrit,
we don't actually have any evidence.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have it. So that's the whole
point. You can't just speculate if you don't have evidence.
Yeah, we can't speculate, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you really want to date
that's what I'm trying to say. There's no way for Hindus to reconcile.
Yeah,
Sanskrit being written. Sorry, Valmiki being written in Sanskrit. There's no way for them to reconcile.
Valmiki Ramayana or Adhyatma Ramayana, even Adhyatma Ramayana.
Even Adhyatma Ramayana, it cannot have been written in Sanskrit because it didn't exist back then. So, and the fact is, Valmiki himself was the teacher of Ram's children. So Valmiki must be contemporary to Ram.
So that's what I'm saying.
There's so many holes in that narrative.
The story can. No. Ramayana, I told you, Ramayana can be retold again and again. So Valmiki's retelling is a contemporary retelling of Valmiki. That's why Valmiki puts himself into the story.
I think your connection is poor now. Again, I'm having trouble seeing you plus hearing you. Anyway, let's take it next time because here it's like 1 a.m. and
okay.
Well, nearly 1:30 a.m.
Okay, but Hashim,
8 hours.
But Hashim,
again a record.
I'll be waiting to.
Yeah, I'll tomorrow I'll get in touch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right, Prasun. Thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye.
See you. Bye.